Yeah, I guess this is State of Dev. I forgot to add that to the agenda originally, but I think we're just gonna kind of jump in and invite our guest, honestly, and talk about that stuff, because I think that's we didn't put out a video last week, so we didn't really have too much to talk about there. So we're just gonna talk about the video last week, 2 weeks ago, and with us for that, we are joined by Hannah Becher. I can never pronounce your name.
Burger.
Just say burger. Yeah, that's
Burger.
Hannah Burger.
Hannah Burger.
the easiest way to do it.
How you doing, Hannah?
I gotta say, I'm a little sick.
Oh no, Hannah's also sick.
Unfortunately, I don't have the fancy gradient effect, so you're gonna have to pretend I'm all grayscale
I was
now,
gonna see if I could. No, I can't. Whatever. It's still late.
Yeah. A truly sick stream. We're all
Awesome.
kind of sick.
Yeah, truly sick.
Yep.
Guys, gonna be a lot of that, huh?
Are you sick or
Yeah.
just sick of us?
A little bit of both.
I mean, it's not the community I have an issue with, really.
Oh, is it Snutt and I? Sorry, try. Do you want me to leave?
Hannah's gonna take over the rest of the
You
stream.
could, I mean, yeah, you can leave your house for me. That's great. Thank
I'll
you.
do that. I'll do that for you, Hannah. Anything
Yeah,
for you, Hannah. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna preface sort of what we're gonna be doing here. We're actually gonna be showing off stuff in editor, which we kind of did this for update 6, and I had to remind myself it was update 6, not 7. Time sure flies.
I forgot to.
We were hoping to capture more B-roll for the video that we put out, but we've been struggling with video capturing stuff for this particular update. So there wasn't as much B-roll as we were hoping, but we're gonna try and mitigate that by showing you pretty much everything. I mean, maybe not everything, but as much as we can today.
Ooh, leaking everything.
Essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're also going to be talking about we're going to dive deeper into some of the aspects that we talked about in the video with the different areas. Is there anything else you want to like preface this section with, Hannah, before we just straight up?
Just that, like, we're obviously, of course, still working in World, so a bunch of the stuff you're going to see is still work in progress. So, you know, if you see floating rocks, that's definitely intended, but the other stuff is not.
If you see floating rocks, you know who to blame. We need to like
Yeah.
have a counter
It's my specialty.
whenever you see
The
a floating
floating
rock.
rock counter.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Chat, you're gonna have to keep track of that. So the first thing that we're gonna talk about that I've sort of set up here already is this is a shot that I wished we could have added to the video. One thing we talked about in the video, and it's kind of weird, I guess, to start with this, but the world perimeter that we have with the game has been sort of like up until now, it's been sort of like cut off. So like it feels like you're on this island more so than you're on like a part of the planet, right? So there's been a bunch of new vistas or world perimeters added. And this is one at the edge of the swamp, so we get the swamp here in the background, cornering with the.
Oh, I love that one over there.
Yeah, I guess this is also right here.
Waterfalls or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the one,
been working his magic.
and then you have the one over here from the thumbnail.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite thumbnails. We need to animate that. Take the song.
Yeah, we could do it. I could sing it.
Yes.
I'm gonna get DMC'd. So yeah, pretty cool.
Oh, this is my favorite one. This big creator here. This
Yeah.
is sick.
One almost thumbnail was like doing something with the clip here, but I couldn't quite work it out. So yeah, is there anything? I mean, here it is, chat. I don't know if there's much to talk about.
Well, hang on here. Nominal Joe. This is hell of a JPEG. It's not a JPEG. This is the other thing to talk about here. So first of all, not all areas will get these vistas for update 8. Only some of the areas that we deemed needed it most will have it, but the intention is to do it with the rest of the areas, and the other areas will still have like water or whatever. But these areas here, they're not JPEGs. They're like actual like large assets that are put out there. And I believe Ben, was it Ben? I'm not sure if it was just Ben, but we used the tool. Okay, we used a tool called I think it's called Gaia or something, which helps like generate these like massive pieces that we could use for the vistas in the background there. Which made the process of making these things easier.
So yeah. Also, one thing also to mention is that I'm driving today. Usually it's Hannah controlling the stuff, but technical difficulties. Who would have thought made it so that it wasn't possible?
Yeah, we're having a bad run.
Yeah.
We're having a bad run with that stuff.
Is there anything new in the swamp that's interesting to talk about?
No.
No, cool.
No, nothing has changed in the swamp.
All right, where do we even start?
On my end.
Chat, where do you want to go? Do we just? I mean, I have a couple of things on my list, but if there's any particular areas that you guys are interested in looking at, then we'll go there and check it out.
While you suggest it, there's a question. We'll take some questions as we go as well. I think this might be interesting. From the Lash, what biome have each of you spent the most time in during development? So when I read this, I read a different question, which was, what biome has taken the most effort to, or have you spent the most time developing? Which might be an interesting question. But also in terms of what have I spent? Probably for me, maybe Rocky Desert or something like that, or for me personally, because that's where I play a lot. That or Grassy Fields.
I feel like I've spent the most in Rocky Desert as well.
Yeah.
But Hannah, what biome has taken the most time to develop?
I can give you the technically correct answer, because Northern Forest is the oldest biome in the game. It's the first one on this map that was made, and so it's also the one that's gone through the most changes and iterations. So we've spent the most time there because it has existed the longest.
There's one area that I remember when I played the very first version of Satisfactory. That was I guess, originally a starting zone, maybe. And it's where is it? It's between. Is it over?
I think it's kind of the normal starting zone.
Here.
Here, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is it right here.
This area is the oldest.
Yeah.
That we have.
This is where we always start. Oh, it's changed so much.
I mean, yeah, and it's it's gone through so many different versions and iterations.
Yeah.
That it's basically unrecognizable at this point.
So for those who are interested, we have a video where I sat down with our CEO Stefan, and we talked about the various iterations of Satisfactory and the prototyping phases. That's on our YouTube channel. And this area is heavily there's a part of that video when it comes to the later stages of Satisfactory where this area is kind of came to be, and most of that video is in this area and in this where I'm building a little factory here. It's wild to look at this area now and look at from that video.
It's much more empty. It's much more teal. That was back when we had teal grass kind of as a default, and just a very, very different vibe in general.
And this landscape was much more open leading towards this area, because I think one of our starting zones was here or something, and you walk down this waterfall maybe, I think, or something like that. I can't remember, but this is the area I think of when I think of the early stages.
This area reminds me of the hand mining mini game.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
It's true.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, there's a video that probably you and Stefan talked about, but there's also a video that I had made from 2017, which has been uploaded to the YouTube channel, where you can see that. In the past, if you wanted to hand mine something from a deposit, you had to time your clicks with this little mini game, and it was super obnoxious. But I think the motivation for that at that time was to discourage hand mining and encourage you to move on from it or something like that.
Yeah.
But it turns out there were probably just better ways for us to accomplish that.
One thing I should also mention probably is that we're in editor right now, and in editor everything is not loading the same way it does in the game. So sometimes foliage would look kind of strange, and it's partly because I have it on a weird setting to make it more smoother to work in editor. So the stuff you see in editor here doesn't necessarily reflect what it's going to look like in the game, because in editor it's also loading a bunch of other shit that very heavily ties down the editor. So there's a bunch of issues with grass not loading in properly and stuff like that, and that's not reflective in the game, because in the game it doesn't actually load the same way, I think. Or something like that. And it's some of the cliffs here also will not have grass at all. It's the same deal there. They will load in game, but in editor they don't load in at the moment.
Yeah, it's a new tool that we've been using to optimize kind of how our grass works, because in the past we've painted grass on top of cliffs to make sure there is stuff there. So grass was painted as a foliage type when it was not on landscape, which is extremely unoptimized. And basically it's not great for performance. So we have this new tool that projects grass on cliffs, but in editor you don't see the grass on the cliffs. So you see empty cliffs. It's like in editor, but in game they would have grass. So it's kind of a
So here's one area that I think a lot of people want to check out, and it's the Desert Canyons. Yeah. And I believe the shot we used in the video is over here. It doesn't reveal too much, but I think this is like roughly what you saw in the video. This is what it looks like.
So exactly. So in this shot, as you can see now, you can have those pillars on the left and also the pillars of sandstone on the right. Like all the sandstone stuff is brand new. A lot of the gray cliffs have been converted here to make the transition a lot nicer. So transition from Dune Desert into like Spiral Coast and Northern Forest here. Now we've taken care of keeping them in roughly the same spots as the gray cliffs, but since they're shaped so differently, the two sets, there's bound to be some differences. So hopefully it won't really break too much, but there's a good chance some things will be strange.
From the conversations that we had, Hannah, I feel like this is probably the biggest candidate area for cliffs swallowing up factory buildings. I don't know if many people build here, but like if you do build
there
here,
is an oil outpost there, there is a
right,
chance. There's probably people have built here, and the landscape itself shouldn't have changed too much, and the cliffs, like we try to place them as inoffensive as possible when we do any changes, but you never quite know what the impact is going to be.
So yeah, this is what it looks like. I don't know if when you go deeper into the Desert Canyons, I don't know how much has changed here, for instance. If it loads
it's all the foliage has changed here because we've essentially made it a transition biome instead of a kind of a separate biome. It's usually the way we think of a biome is that each biome has its own climate, its own theme, its own like asset sets and stuff. Like some biomes will share assets with each other, but this one it was so small, and it was kind of like this nexus between 4 different biomes in a way that we figured that it might be nicer to just make this full-on transition area. So we've converted it entirely into transition spaces. So we've taken assets and themes from Spiral Coast, from Northern Forest, from Titan Forest, and from Dune Desert, and kind of like tried to mix them in ways that made sense to make everything kind of feel like less of a harsh transition, essentially.
This part in particular is pretty interesting, I feel like, because it's like 3 different biomes ish that's like joined up together here ish. It's like it goes up into Northern Forests, like in this direction, and here it's going up to like the Maze Canyon and stuff, and then Titan Forest, and then over here it's like going to the desert.
Yep.
That's fun. These transition areas are always interesting, I assume, to make, because it feels like those are the hardest ones to make.
They're pretty tricky, because you kind of got to find assets that match between areas, and sometimes that's very hard because some areas are thematically and palette-wise so different that it's kind of hard to find commonalities. And then usually what you do to make a transition kind of nicer is to remove assets over time to kind of have like more empty spots that are kind of more neutral. Usually like making it kind of rocky works. Sand and rock is a great way to transition things.
Yeah, it's an interesting here
because they're like, pretty universal.
Got the mix here between the two.
Yeah.
Duct Tape Jake asks, is this running in Unreal Engine 5? Yes, it is.
Yep.
And then also another question, which I think is fairly relevant, is will we see changes to the road/path network?
Yes.
In general around the map, and I believe that's been an area of focus, right?
That has been an area of focus because a lot of the areas we've been tackling in this update are ones that kind of had navigational trouble. in the sense that like they're either hard to navigate for vehicles or they're even hard to navigate on foot. Like Red Jungle is very easy to get lost in the past. And so we've been very much having a focus on building kind of these natural roads that don't necessarily look like traditional roads, but still kind of allow for freeform vehicle travel or allow you to build more easily in ways. So you're not blocked as much. And that, yeah, like big truck, trains, Explorer, whatever you want to take would work there. So we've done that in Rocky Desert. We've done that in Eastern Dune Forest. We haven't really done too much of that in Time Forest because it's more of an exploration area. So the focus there lies less on being able to travel through it and more on having little adventures.
I think that makes sense to have some areas that like are not intended for travel, so you have to for vehicles, so you have to find other means to move around. But,
yeah, exactly. In Red Jungle also, it's been more suitable for on-foot traversal, but it's not super great for vehicles because it's it's a kind of like an end game adventure place.
Yeah. Wait, but Red Jungle, has that gotten some path work done to it at all?
Small, yeah, footpaths more than anything.
Okay. Oh, not so much for vehicles, because I remember there being some changes to paths, but it's footpaths. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We'll
so
show
that.
that.
Navigate around it, I guess, a little better.
We'll get to that part. I just need to pull up I feel like I need to pull up the map with the changes, just so I can remind myself again what actually has changed. Plan map changes. We have on our press kit, for the record, we have, if you check on under update 8, there's like a section where Jace made these together with Hannah, there's like plan map changes with sections of the map in regards to like what we're planning to do with this update, but also in the future. So if you're wondering like how will the map still change, like that's the best place to go to check it out. I could.
Links in the chat right now.
You did? Okay, cool. I was just about to.
Got you, fam.
Yeah. Because it doesn't, according to the plan map changes in update 8, there's not too many changes in like. Whoops! I just tried to open in OBS and move the camera. I don't think there's too many changes like in the desert or.
No, we haven't made any changes in Dune Desert.
Yeah. I think one thing that some people picked up on a couple of weeks ago when we were showing specifically this vista is like, since we're moved to Nanite, this is Unreal Engine 5, and we're using Nanite on, is it all the cliffs now, or is it just like a subset of cliffs?
I'm not sure.
Know, you sure?
No, I'm not.
Is that a Ben question?
It's a Ben question, yes.
So there's a lot of Nanite in the scene, actually. Yeah, so this is a representation of everything that's using Nanite, which is Unreal's like, it's, what it's essentially doing, it's streaming in parts of the mesh. So like if you're very far away from a mesh, it will only load in like the triangles that are actually rendered. The main benefit of doing this is we don't need to rely on LODs for a lot of objects in the scene, which makes it so that like when you're far away, we used to have like these models that we like switch out. So like the further away from something, it starts switching out models. With Nanite, you don't really need to do that anymore because it's like doing that on the same model. It's just changing like the how like highly defined the model is depending on how far away you are from it.
How densely the triangles are or something?
Yeah,
okay.
And the real benefit for us specifically on doing it on the cliffs is that they look a lot more detailed in the distance compared to how they used to look like.
Yeah, damn.
Specifically like these.
I'd love to see a side by side or something. Maybe that's something you could do one day, but.
Yeah.
Wait, do I have it? Wait, maybe I have it actually. 1 second.
Oh.
It'll cut off audio maybe. We'll see. It was this one. So this is update 7, and then switches to update 8 here.
Oh damn!
So you can see the difference in, if you check the. Is it good?
Oh wow!
Yeah,
there we go.
So much more detail.
Yeah, I think the mic was on for that. Yeah, hopefully.
Do it again.
Sharp. Yeah.
Yeah, the sharpness. I mean, oh man, can you proceed like just a couple frames? Is that easy to do, or?
Yeah.
Oh man, like I wish I could point at what I'm looking at here, but like, how do I?
Just
I
some of the structures in the distance, you can
yeah,
see.
yeah, like they look sad and muddy before, but then they're like super crisp.
Even the close-up stuff, because the lighting works so much better with it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah,
true.
yeah,
that
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Because all the normal mapping on the on the cliffs makes it also lighting looks a lot more detailed.
Jesus, no, give people a little bit of a warning when you had to come back to my face like that. Like, jump scare 1,000 people. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And one question that I get a lot is whether we're going to use Nanite for foliage. And at the moment, I don't think we will, because it's a lot of work that needs to be done. And it's not like a thing where we can just convert easily all the foliage on the map to Nanite, unfortunately. I know that Unreal has tools to convert meshes to Nanite, but unfortunately, it doesn't work out for our foliage, apparently. I don't know the details. Ben just gave me the rundown. Because we essentially need to like rework all the foliage on the map, and it's just too much work for us at this point.
I poop fish. Get help if you're pooping fish, by the way. Big trees are nanite too, are they? Can you enable nanite vision? Look?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It might be though. Let's see. Maybe the Titan Forest trees.
Were, but they're
Whoops, wrong one.
They're placed as static meshes. They're not foliage.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the trees are also nanite for
They
Titan Forest.
They essentially function as cliffs do, but they're giant trees instead. Yeah. Which also completely new. And I saw a question come by about being able to walk around the branches, and yeah, you should be able to. There shouldn't be the usual collision around them that completely blocks you from approaching them. You should be able to actually.
You can make little tree houses.
Yep.
Ooh.
That's the idea.
There you go. There you go.
Is there a way I can show collision? I think there is.
There should be.
It's like, where's the? Is it this one? I don't know if it's player collision or if it's. Oh, let's see if it crashes.
Uh-oh.
There might be a lot of collision actually.
Oh no.
Get ready for imminent crash.
Oh, wait.
Oh, wait for it. Oh, scary. Wait for it. I think the editor crashed.
Oh! Hey, let's go! Snutt's little machine's doing it.
Yeah. Snutt's, by the way, Snutt's little machine, this isn't even on this is actually on a completely different computer. And it's a pretty beefy one too. And it's still kind of struggling. So,
oh yeah.
But it's mostly this like visualization stuff that's heavy, especially this one in particular. Let's see how long.
Oh, why did you do that?
Why did you do that?
Because I'm curious. This one is usually. Yeah.
No, it's also like it does usually fine when you have a small section of the map loaded, but when you have the whole map loaded, that is a lot.
Oh yeah, I've loaded the entire thing.
Struggle with that, even the high-end ones.
That was also not something we could do. This is also based on the world partitioning system, which we discussed in the Unreal Engine 5 tool stuff. But it's really in this area that you're working, Hannah, where I think you guys are taking most advantage of that system with how you sort of work with the environment.
Yeah, I mean, just any of the later map changes, like once we switched to Unreal 5, like with the new world partitioning, especially once we got kind of like we got a little map in Engine where we can select essentially which area we want to load. And that makes it both easier and harder to work in similar areas. But also because like normally if you would do any work in a tile, like if you would move a tree in the tile, it would check out the tile. Now it just checks out the tree, which means that we can technically work in similar areas at the same time with multiple people, as long as we don't touch the same assets. So it's been nicer in the sense that we've been able to work much more accurately. And the nice thing about it too is that the loading for y'all is going to change and be much more optimized, because it's not going to load a whole fucking tile when you get close to it anymore. It's going to load like smaller parts of it that are more relevant to you.
Have you personally noticed benefits in that area when you jump like actually into the game and run around, or?
Not per se. mostly because Unreal 5 itself is pretty beefy.
Right, so yeah, it's hard to compare to the...
It's hard to compare, but like in the game itself, probably yes. But in engine, it's very different because of how things are loaded.
Yeah.
And I don't actually play that much. I kind of have this weird thing where I'm so familiar with this game at some point. Also, yes, brand new Rocky Desert. Hello, first look. This is an area I'm currently working in. So you're gonna see some in progress stuff here. Like some of the LODs of stuff are broken as well. But I've been doing a lot of work here with foliage and refining landscaping. Because this area, out of all the starting areas, was the longest one ago that we've touched. So it was a lot of old stuff was left here. So it took quite a bit of work.
I remember when we were talking about the Spire Coast, that like you mentioned how the style or whatever, like how when you wouldn't realizing like how to detail the map and like how to work with it, that you keep going back and be like, now I've improved like how to do it, so now I want to go back to the old areas that were technically finished.
Yeah.
Because, and I feel like Rocky Desert was like, there was like a huge contrast between like Rocky Desert being like one of the oldest areas, like how it was made, compared to like Spire Coast, which was the newest area, like so
brand
much
new,
detail.
shiny, and then like really old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was an area that we didn't have too much B-roll of because I didn't have time. But also I wasn't too sure what areas were new in the Rocky Desert because I'm a fake fan.
At that time, I'd only worked on some smaller parts of it. Now the majority of it has been converted into the new stuff.
Yeah.
I think one part of this that was interesting to me when you were showing me around how to, and this is more of just like minor details, was like if you can go forward a little bit to that road, Snutt, this is gonna be really hard to give you directions. So follow this road, keep following, keep going, keep going, and stop around here. Just these transitions are out with these slopes here on your right there.
Yeah.
And also just just smooth that kind of things out. And then there's like some small rocks that have like sand coming down off the side of them. I think there's some to the left of you, Snutt, and forward.
Yeah, if you go a little further.
And then to the right there. On your right. Yep, right there. So like you can sort of see like these little details where it's like, yes.
Enhance.
Jesus.
Perfect. Oh,
so
God.
it's just kind of like the sand, the erosion from the sand kind of like reaches up a little bit to the rock face. I don't know, just like these tiny little details, which won't impact things much, but I think it was like a really nice attention to detail.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of rough landscaping in this area too, like a lot of really like sharp ridges and kind of weird gravel and cliff painting that was done in the landscape here, which I've mostly also made much more subtle and much more kind of, the transitions are much gentler now instead of kind of like that harsh cutoff lines that we've had before. And most of the landscape changes that I've done here is moving it lower and smoothing it out, which means that ideally it shouldn't clip into the factory, but underneath instead. So, at worst you have some floating stuff. I hope. There might be some corners where it's a little bit more iffy, but it shouldn't be too bad.
So one thing we talked about before the stream was these like roads specifically, and you mentioned it here on stream too, that like a lot of areas have gotten roads.
That's new. This is a road that didn't exist at all before. A lot of places here, a lot of the kind of things that were kind of almost roads, but not quite, because they were blocked in specific places or they were too narrow or things like that, I've improved to be much more suitable for vehicles. And so now you can, instead of, there are no dead ends anymore, or at least a lot less of them, and you can actually just go around the area much more smoothly than before.
Then here's a shot, if you guys remember this shot. This is when we announced signals. It's this exact tree.
There it is. Signal tree.
The cacti have been fully reworked too.
Ooh, let's do some cacti.
Nice.
Here it is.
They're brand new.
Oh, I like the other.
Yes, they
This is a beauty
need some
shot.
acne cream.
Can you zoom out? Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Whoa, you got like,
whoa!
I managed to get the,
Did you accidentally like lick the cactus and it's got some toxic material in it and we're all tripping balls now?
Are we all Sokka from Avatar?
Yeah. That's a Pokemon? Yeah, it kind of looks like... what's the name of the Pokemon?
Sudowoodo?
Is that it? I can't remember.
I think it's Sudowoodo, right?
It's like 4th, 3rd generation. Wait.
Yeah, it's Pokemon Gold, right? Gold and Silver?
Oh, Cactuar is Final Fantasy. That's a different...
Yeah, Cacti is Sudowoodo, yeah, right? See, we got Rainmaker saying Sudowoodo.
Nice, yeah.
Pretty sure it is.
Cacturn?
Cactoon? Maybe it's that one?
Cacturn.
Yeah. Wait, so are these new? I don't know why, but I just
They're
feel
new.
like I've seen
Yeah,
them.
I mean, there were cacti before, but we did a full rework of them. And
Is
those
this
are
also-
new too.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
They're
this
dead,
looks new.
dead palm trees.
Oh, cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
are
we've
there-
done a lot of like asset kind of.
Uh-oh.
My pride and joy.
Add it to the counter. Floating rock. That counts as
It's gotta
rock.
be work in progress. Work in progress.
I don't know, Hannah.
Anyway,
Someone-
let's talk about
someone-
the colors of the assets.
Someone said before, pay rise for Hannah. You need to understand.
Yeah.
Balance in all things. She makes amazing,
Perfectly balanced.
Look,
amazing
yes.
things and then does that.
Yes, and then I ruin it with one mistake.
Yeah. Copy saying, you cannot make mistakes or no pay for you.
We've done a lot of color balancing in this area too, like tweaking colors of assets and landscape and stuff to kind of make the palette nicer as well.
Some people were asking, a few people have asked about the shore and the beaches of this area.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's stuff that I haven't touched yet. So this
Work in
is stuff
progress.
that's still in progress.
and we consider this is an area without vistas here, so you can, it's kind of...
And you can see some more floating stuff.
Floating
'cause
fart.
it's very much in progress.
Ooh, I don't know, Hannah.
Yeah, sketchy.
Can't
Wait,
fix
was
the
this still
entire
here?
area at once, all right? I gotta subdivide.
Spoilers.
But I think I saw someone talk about a part of the shore here that's like at the very left top corner that had like a lot of clams and stuff that made it really hard to drive there. Those have been removed, and basically
this
I'm
area?
gonna smooth out that area. Yeah, exactly. But
Oh, this looks very different.
yeah, and I've lost the word. The other assets there are also gonna be moved around so that it's gonna be actually.
There used to be a rock here.
Yeah, exactly. I've removed a lot of deprecated assets, which means other assets that aren't deprecated are floating because they
Yeah.
were painted on top of deprecated assets. Those are new. Like we have a new version of these that replaces the old versions of those. But yeah, this is all stuff that's still like half done. I've removed a lot of stuff here, a lot of deprecated assets, but I'm gonna add the new stuff later and polish up stuff.
Does this area loop around? If you drive here, I'm trying to remember, and you go over here. This just goes. Oh, this goes down to the.
It's shallow enough that I can make a road there once I remove all the assets
drive
that
here
would
too.
block you. But yeah, up here.
Oh,
this
this
is a
goes
road
up here,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. And then there's like the oil stuff over here, right?
And now you're in an area that I'm working on right now. This is exactly what I've.
Ooh, live update.
Yes. This one's in progress.
Oh man, the vista in the back though.
Oh yeah,
Like, isn't that sick?
Very nice.
managed to get the planet perfectly aligned through with the.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Signpost Mars saying lots of content to update for blamehannah.com site now. Well, you gotta make sure you gotta check it after it's released, all right? Because it might get fixed before that.
Mm-mm-mm.
All right, so
Doesn't count unless it's live.
exactly.
Cool. Is there anything else in this region that's interesting to show off?
I mean, if you go down that little valley there on the left, that was full of really old coral assets that were all deprecated. So I've removed those, and I will be replacing this with other stuff. So now this one looks a lot more empty than it was before.
That's like
And a lot of floating stuff because that was placed on the coral.
on the coral. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's something I should tell you too, because when we do world updates to an area, like after that's done, level comes in to fix stuff. So most likely, like kind of more the gameplay things like slugs, animals, like Summers Loop, Mercer Spheres, that kind of stuff will not be updated yet in this area once it goes live, because that takes more time after I'm done. And this is all very in progress and empty.
Because we do.
Yeah, and this coal area that if you go through the rock on the right, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you mean here?
Yeah, exactly. This one also very different. This one had a lot of weird landscaping and also old assets, and I've fully converted it to be a transition area between Northern Forests and Rocky Desert.
I know this place. Yeah, like
it used to be green. Right? It used to be green, which was kind of a hard sell for a place that was in a desert.
Right. Oh, this is really different actually, because I've got stuff built here.
Yeah, I just realized too.
Wait, is that inlet different as well? Wait, is it, or am I imagining things?
No. I haven't changed the shape of things here.
There used to be a slug on this. Ooh, someone's head's gonna roll.
Ooh.
Oh, it's gone now.
No, wait. I might be misremembering actually, because I think one of the thingies spawn here. One of the hogs. One of the big ones.
Hogs do spawn here, yeah.
The folks that are worried about their factories here, it should be fine. I've mostly done landscape painting and foliage work here, so if you have a chainsaw, you're gonna be a-okay. I've done some landscape sculpting as well in kind of the higher up area mainly, but it's all essentially been like lowering landscape, so it should all be good. Should, yes, super cool. It's always should. I can never fully predict what's going to happen here.
Trademark.
And I haven't done stuff up here yet, but only down.
Wait, isn't there a iron thingy up here somewhere? There it is. Oh my god, this looks very different.
Yeah, I've just...
Question from Bits. Hannah, have you played around with any bioluminescence for plants, just for visuals?
Just bioluminescent plants in general in the game, or...
Yeah,
we love that stuff.
We have some in caves, right?
We have some in caves, we have some in Titan Forest. And I mean, we have also, of course, in Northern Forest, the acorns in these trees are bioluminescent. I don't know if it shows up.
Does show an editor?
No, it doesn't show up with this lighting system. You need a different one to change the time of day for the assets to update with the bioluminescence.
I think this one only updates the. It doesn't update the material. It only changes the directional lights in the scene.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure if we can show that off here, sadly.
No.
But we
technically we could, but then we need to load it to the game.
We love bioluminescence. It's great. It's dope. We always think it looks great, so we tend to add it to areas if we can.
Is there a cave here that's new in this area?
There's caves we can show off, and just wondering which one we should pick. I think so if
not
we go
the one
to
with because you sent not the one with the thing, if that makes sense. Okay, Hannah knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah, because I think that's actually in this area maybe. You sent me two. You sent me two when we talked about this. You sent me two links, and one of them has a cave with that thing in it.
Yeah. No, it's not in this area. But we can go to Swamp, kind of the rocks between Swamp and Desert Canyons that have a little bit of Titan Forest on top of them. Because there's a cave below there that has been worked on.
Let's see here.
All right, here we're gonna have fun. Yeah, okay. Turn the 180. Do 180. There we go. That way.
Here we go. Is it not the waterfalls, right?
Not the waterfalls caves, no.
There's one like.
Oh, waterfalls cave confirmed.
I didn't say that.
No, this is not.
Are they visible if I do this? By the way.
This is an old one. This is an old cave.
Because I'm not sure. Because it used to be. So the way it used to work, we had like a separate loading system for the caves specifically. They were part of like a sub-tile, which
they used to be separate levels, but now it's all together.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So they should like if I just go through the world, I should be able to spot them maybe. But okay, where are we going? I can just
tell you where it is.
Oh yeah. Where's the fun
finally there was someone who knew where they were.
Where's the fun in
right? Okay, just
Okay.
If you stop, yes, 180.
180. This direction.
That's more than 180, but sure. Go left. Further left. Further left. Further left.
Oh, it's like on the other side of the swamp.
Go to the balloon tree. That's a good origin point for the next. And go. If you go higher, I can give you better directions. This is gonna be great, y'all. Treasure hunt.
Yeah.
Okay, go further left. Basically, you need to go to the rock wall, not where the waterfalls are, but where the kind of the outshoot of Titan trees are.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. That you're going the right way. Okay, now go low, underneath these rocks. There you go. Yep. Yeah. You got it. Here you go.
Ooh. Oh, this is where I shot the fucking B-roll. I knew about this one. One angle I was thinking of doing for the B-roll was like this shot.
Yes.
Kind of, but the waterfall edge is kind of weird.
Has been fully converted. With new
but so the B-roll in the video is, I think, where did I take the shot? I think it's from here, something maybe. I think this is the shot I used in the video. Something like that. It's got some like work in progress waterfalls here.
Yeah, the water's all work in progress.
And then it keeps going here. Is there a specific?
I didn't do this cave, by the way. This was my intern.
Okay, then we can.
Did some great work here.
Come on, editor. What's going on? Oh boy, it's really struggling. There we go. It's coming back. I think it was loading in something.
Does your intern have a name?
I don't know how much she wants to.
Yeah, maybe she doesn't
be featured.
Yeah,
so I'm playing safe.
Yeah. That's true.
Cool. I actually remember this cave before we changed it, and it was very empty. I don't remember these, like, were these archers, like these like stepping arches here though before? Because I remember just being open.
Yeah, there's like better jump puzzles here as well. Like the navigation here has been improved.
People are liking the cave stuff. It looks really good.
This is also another area where when showing it off in editor, we don't get the full experience, I would say.
Because there's no spiders.
Yeah, especially in the caves, I would say, because the lighting doesn't really look the same in editor right now as it does in game. And I'm scared of doing play from here because it can really cut.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
We might do that further, closer to the end of the stream, where like we're not as dependent on the editor as much.
Where if the editor breaks down, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone asked, "Can we build in this cave now?" Yeah, if it's converted like this, you can totally build in this cave if you really want to.
Oh,
sparkly purple things mean it's safe to build.
Yes.
Until we change it.
Yes, exactly.
If the editor is struggling, does that mean the game will struggle too? No. If the editor will struggle more than the actual game does, because the editor is doing way more. Like dynamically as well with the stuff that's in the game than what will actually be when we export the game and cook it all down. So editor is always slower than the actual game.
At the moment, I have loaded the entire map. In this
you have the entire map loaded right now?
Yes.
Well, that's actually quite impressive.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was sort of doable before too, but it was a hassle. But now I have actually loaded the entire map in one go, and it is still doing a little bit of like when it's streaming in and out assets as we're moving along. There can be spots definitely where like if I'm high up and it's like loading in a ton of stuff at the same time. I think there's still some distance calling happening on some stuff you can see when we're moving around.
Yeah, I think I've seen some as well.
Because I think when we're in that cave, I think it was loading in some of the assets that we hadn't loaded before. And it's probably compiling a couple of shaders as well. As
yeah, it does that a
lot. But yeah, I have loaded the entire
this spot
map.
is fully different too, because it's part of Titan Forest's transition area. And I think it was pretty much empty before.
We haven't shown off too much of the Titan Forest.
We haven't really shown off Titan Forest, no.
Let me see if I can find the spot in the teaser. It's like over here, I think. Titan Forest is really tricky because I get lost here a lot.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, you got to go further to the right because that's approaching the area that's still in progress.
There's like a lake somewhere. small lake. It's not this one.
Yeah, it's further, yeah, that way, but on top of rocks. So, right.
It's like
Up, left,
here,
too
right?
far right. There you go.
There we go. Yeah. This is the area where I shot the teaser. There is no deposit on that node, by the way. I just added it because it looked better in the teaser. I know some people commented on that.
Yeah.
Actually, no deposit there. Actually,
So, yeah, this area has been essentially received a full overhaul. Like all the big pine trees have been replaced, and all of the foliage has been replaced, and I've also redone pretty much all of the landscape painting. The sculpting and changing of cliffs, not so much. We tried to keep it mostly the same if we could. But yeah, the pine trees are all in the same spots as was mentioned in the video.
Hello.
So they shouldn't affect your factory. But yeah, foliage will pop back up, so that's...
Because the hitbox of the trees are a bit smaller than...
Probably, yeah.
Oh, that also reminds me. There might be some stuff popping up, like random vehicles might pop up here while flying around. Ignore that. That's not supposed to be in the game.
random vehicle.
I don't know why, but sometimes there's been like stuff that it's like a little bit of confusion sometimes, because sometimes when I'm working on trailer related things, we need to sometimes, when we're working on the same scene, we need to commit the changes we're doing. Sometimes I've committed stuff that's not supposed to be on the map accidentally.
Ooh.
So just be aware of that.
Sin.
Okay.
Yeah, here's another.
Our giant chainsaw is back.
Yeah. But, this area has a fully new vision. It was very different before.
I think it's when you're just browsing through this area now, unless you'd like recently played through this area, I don't think many people might think that to notice that there is a lot of changes here. But if you do a side-by-side comparison, this area looks very new.
Yes. I mean, you could go to the corner that hasn't been converted yet to the new set, and you can show off how it looks how the old stuff.
Which corner is that? Is the?
It's close to bamboo fields. It's like that wall of cliffs before that wall of cliffs.
Okay, so
it's kind of like between north down here.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's old Titan Forest.
And then we turn around. That didn't work. Damn it.
You need the 360.
Yeah. So you can see, on this side, here's the new kind of stuff that I've been building, and on the other side of the river, you get more of the old stuff.
You got nice purple highlights here.
Yeah.
Purple.
And this is where it transitions into Northern Forest.
More colors, yeah. Can also mention, I think we mentioned a couple of times, but the water that you see throughout almost the entire map, right? Is probably gonna change as well.
This lake stuff is the material's pretty good. That one, I think is.
Yeah, I think this one. There's a couple of places where you can see a harsh transition between water and between areas, and the waterfalls in particular as well. I think. They're all placeholders because we have this new water system that we're gonna get around to it someday. And when I say we, I mean Ben, because Ben is the one who needs to sort of.
Shout outs to Ben.
Yeah, shout out
Thanks,
to Ben.
Ben. Helps a lot.
He's got too much shit on his plate.
Question from Bacon of War: are you using procedural foliage or are you placing shrubbery by hand?
By hand. It's all by hand.
Try hard.
Yeah.
And not just foliage.
And also crying half of the time.
A lot of the rocks that, when people say a floating rock are rocks aren't literal foliage. They're not trees. But in terms of Unreal Engine, are rocks considered foliage objects? Yep. They are, right? So they're part of the foliage system. And so I hopefully there's a bunch of people here, and hopefully we've seen how much detail is in the world. I mean, I guess you guys have seen that before, but you've also seen how there's we've seen a lot of floating slugs, other floating rocks, because certain assets are deprecated and removed, and there's so many things everywhere hopefully this, like the scale of like what we're working with and how many changes there are, I think if you take that all into consideration and the fact that there are some rocks that float, it's actually a very like quite a good achievement that like we come across them every now and then, considering how many assets you place.
Yeah, we've never been more than 2 people working on World.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of the constant through line with that.
How are you guys like?
I mean, we have tools, of course. Like, it's not by hand, as in like I select a tree and I place it and I turn it and I scale it or something. We have this like painting tool for which we can kind of set placement rules, like between sort of scales, how many, kind of the density of them within a specific area, kind of like doing a randomization turn, so we don't have to tweak everything by hand, but we still need to do that kind of painting everywhere by hand.
I think I can sort of.
Also, static meshes are placed like that.
I think I can demo that.
Yeah, can you demo it? It'd be pretty cool, because like it's like a paintbrush that has like a bunch of different foliages that can be painted, and it sort of like in a way procedurally places them as you paint, but then you still need to review and make sure that what you're placing is what you want. Like at the end of the day, the tool just helps you place them, but it's not as if it's just like procedurally done by like an algorithm completely. Hannah and crew.
Go somewhere empty. Okay, let's see here if this works. It's been a while since I did this.
Rye asked, does Hannah go home and landscape her yard too? I don't have a yard, but I do play The Sims, so technically...
You have a yard then. You have a yard.
I have a yard in The Sims. I absolutely do.
So I can show this real quick too, because like when you talk about landscaping, like the way that it works is we have like one mesh which acts as a landscape, which is what you're sculpting on. So like here, for instance, you can do this kind of stuff.
That's the landscape sculpting. Yeah.
So like if I wanted to have like
it's
a
like
sand,
playing, essentially.
This is beautiful.
Beautiful. Look, they're mirrors of each other.
This looks exactly like an actual Dune Desert, right?
Yeah.
And then there's
are you watching, Hannah? Taking notes here?
Yeah.
I'm learning so much from this stream.
There's a bunch of really cool tools here too. Like this is like the erosion tool, where like it fakes what if water was dripping on top of this and stuff like that. And then we have like, sorry, no, that's the hider one. Wait,
Snutt is the intern.
Yeah. I don't really use that one, Snutt. I don't really use that one because it doesn't do exactly what I want.
Yeah.
So.
And then there's the ramp thing here, where like, wait, let me see if I remember how to do this. You can create like, if you wanted to like create a fake ramp rolling up here. Wait, how do you do that? You need to like
you have to click
apply it, right?
Generate it.
Add. Oh, it's different in so like if you wanted to have like being able to drive up with a vehicle and you want that flat kind of thing, you can do it that way. There's also like if you want this to be like a plateau thing here, you can do a flatten.
Flatten, yeah.
Sort of like, yeah, beautiful.
Made a temple.
Yeah. And then on top of the landscape, you do foliage painting.
You can also have landscape painting. You can show that off, maybe.
Wait.
It's in a different tab within landscaping, so it's sculpting.
Oh yeah, that's true. And this is oh yeah, that's a good point actually, because like if you want to paint like we want to have like a path, because the way we've set it up is the landscape is like one big materials essentially, and then we have like sort of layers for that landscape. So if you want to have like green parts of the thing, does it work this way in this? I haven't tried it out in the way we set it up here. Here, beautiful, right? So like you essentially paint what you want the like what the landscape sort of texture will look like, and if you want to have like a path or maybe like some kind of, here's a red jungle something, and then we have like different ways to like blend them to make it look better, because right now I'm just painting straight on and it kind of looks weird when it's repeating.
Yeah, there's ways you can
But okay, so here's one cool thing though with this material is that we have these like small bushes that appear. That's part of like the layer that I just painted on. So like those don't need to be placed manually. Those are like part of the painting process. And then depending on how you paint and sculpt, they will appear in different ways, right? That's a good point actually. And then we have the foliage thingamajig, where you pick sort of what assets you want to paint. So like if I want to place a bunch of rocks here, maybe, if the editor wants to cooperate. Hello.
Chat right now are torn between don't commit and commit. Git commit and git push force.
I mean, I think it's honestly clear that I'm gonna be out of a job soon because that's just natural.
I'm fucking pro at this. Wait,
Alright.
how does-
All right, press 1 if you want Snutt to commit it, 2 if you want him to revert.
What do you think? What do you?
why is this not working?
It's
Maybe-
the community, of course.
Maybe
they want
this asset
stuff.
doesn't work. Maybe I should
All
try
right,
the bush.
there's like 5 people that wanted you to revert. No, I got a bit more, but
Yeah. Okay. So here's I'm painting the red bushes like where I want them. I want them in this overall section.
Yeah. So
Holy
it's
shit.
kind of like that, but then there's like a panel at the side that gives you a bunch of settings that can tell you make you control the size of things, the density of the placement, the rotation, etc., etc.
Yeah.
and
And like
right
how
now,
it's randomized within the brush, sort of.
Right. Yeah, because like right now you're just working with like these one red brushes, but you can have like your like palette can be like little bush, rock, and a tree, right? And so when you paint, it paints bush, rocks, and trees at whatever density and et cetera that you've pre-configured, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can even paint different assets at the same time, although that is kind of risky to do because they don't take into account the placement of the other type of assets, so that you'll get a lot of clipping that way.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can also set like density. So like if you want, I can't remember if it's like the higher you go, the more appear. I think it's the other way around. Yeah. Yeah. So like the lower value density, the less show up.
Less dense.
Exactly. And then if I go full on 1, this is what Hannah just mentioned. It's just
This is like a little
Chaos.
vineyard or something. Yeah.
So yeah, so there's like, I guess you have like a subset of, how do you define that? Do you have like subset of like, okay, now we're in Titan Forest, which means that this is that subset of assets that I can paint with?
Yeah, we have filters for that in the Foliage tool, where you can select.
Oh my god,
which
you do!
biome
Holy
you're
shit!
in.
I've never
Yeah.
seen this before.
It's
This is
new.
new
It's
to me.
pretty new.
Yeah, this is new to me. Cool. Wait,
Yeah,
wait.
previously I had to like find every asset myself, like every time. So this saves me so much effort.
Oh, I'm so scared of using this stuff because there might be stuff here that we don't want to show. Grass, I think, is safe. Yes.
Maybe we've demonstrated what we need to demonstrate.
I don't think there's anything in there that's
All right.
There's definitely something here that I don't think I just noticed that we don't want to show off.
all right.
But this one looks fine because there's a bunch of these. I can like, when I see assets and there's 0 on the map, that's when I get a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I mean that's usually deprecated stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing. There's no spoilers in there. It's just kind of like, oh, we haven't used this in 3 years because we don't want it.
Oh, for some reason I can't apply the.
Jay, stop being a dad.
Oh wow! I wish you guys could see this. It's like it also has like a sub filter too, with like.
Yep.
Cool.
The sub filters are the biome filters.
It's like salt water, dead.
Biome specific.
Yeah, cool, awesome. What was the thing we were talking about before we started doing this shit?
Well, I actually have another question which is sort of relevant to this, or thing we can talk about. So one other thing that people run into is indestructible trees. Some trees are indestructible, right?
Yeah.
That should be. Now, is the system for that the same system that it has been for many years that I made? Where you have to apply the destructible type to certain foliage types, right? And so the way that, and it's a weird system, and it doesn't really make sense why it needs to be this way, unless you dive right in. But the way that this works is because these foliage assets they're all like grouped into one thing, and so they're it's very hard to physically test what tree is in front of me, and you have to do it within the instance. It's kind of weird, and so the only way to make trees destructible is on their individual foliage types. So you can see here there's like little bushes, there's like red bamboo trees, there's green trees. You need to go in each one of those asset types, and you can apply certain what are
Yeah,
they?
like
Not settings.
Settings.
tags
collision
or
types.
collision tag kind of thing, whatever, like certain like objects, markers to them basically. And one of them is whether or not they can be destructible. Parameters is the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you can also apply like whether or not it can be picked up, things like that. And so whenever you come across like certain type of tree that should be able to be cut down, but it can't be, it's because it's missing that tag. And again, like as you can see, there's so many different types of foliage, and I think it's not even, we can't necessarily just apply it to each different type of foliage, because different areas use different collections of foliage, and you need to apply them individually to those or something like that. So it's very easy to miss like one thing here and there, and then you get one area with one type of tree that can't be cut down anymore.
Yeah, and it's also something like if it's an asset that we're not sure we're gonna keep, or if it's an asset that might be used in different areas, then we probably don't really change the parameters until we're very certain like how it's going to be used and where it's going to be used. And it's kind of probably a big pass that we'll do kind of once we've wrapped up most of our biomes, where we go over all of the assets and make sure all the settings are correct and all the collisions correct and all that kind of stuff. So
okay, here's a good follow-up question. And here, why aren't all trees cuttable by default? And that makes perfect logical sense, but the way that these foliages work under the hood, intuitively it is how you think, but like actually in the implementation in Unreal Engine, how it works, that doesn't make sense. Like, because Unreal Engine doesn't know what a tree is, there's just foliage, right? And foliage can be rocks in terms of how Unreal Engine considers things. A foliage can be anything. So there's no way to define what is a tree, what isn't a tree. All we can do is apply foliages to our like palette and paintbrush, and then tell Unreal Engine which ones are destructible trees and which ones are collectible bushes or whatever after the fact. There's no way to really define what is and isn't a tree beforehand. So like, even though that like, yes, that makes sense, and we wish it was that easy, that's just simply not how it works under the hood, and so we can't consider it that way.
Because one important fact to this as well is how the foliage works in our game compared to how they work in Unreal Engine. Because the foliage system that we have in Satisfactory is a custom solution we've made for Satisfactory. Because the thing you mentioned, Jace, where like when I click on this, it highlights all the bushes, right? Because this is a big instance. So when we render the foliage, we don't render like one thing at a time. We bulk them together and send like the data to the GPU. We like render all this stuff.
Which also means that each individual tree is not actually where it is. Like
exactly.
there's no object there. Like we can see this tree is at this location on the map, but there is no game object of this plant. That doesn't exist. So that's a hard thing to wrap your head around, but that's how it works for optimization reasons.
And in our game, you can walk up to this specific bush and pick that specific instance up. And we have had to make a system, and we've remade that system 3 times now for various reasons.
I've had a go of it. You've had a go of it, right, Snutt?
And now in Update 8, there's going to be a new version of that foliage system as well, where we sort of detect like which foliage did you pick up. And the reason why we reworked it so many times is because of multiplayer, because we need to be able to tell from the server like which bush did you pick up. The problem is that all these instances are not deterministic on client and host. They don't have this specific bush doesn't have the same ID on host and client. So we have had to make a system that kind of like figures out which bush is which bush. And then the added problem you mentioned, where like you also need to be able, like when you're looking at the bush, so we can highlight the bush. That's another problem.
And not the entire instance of all the bushes.
Exactly. Because in default in Unreal Engine, if I want to highlight this particular bush here, it highlights the entire instance bulk.
That's why we used to have that issue way back when, especially on multiplayer, where people are like, on client, I can't pick up bushes and trees. And I can understand from a player's perspective, like, this is like a basic thing. Why can't I just pick up this tree? And it's like, actually, it's really not that basic. It's like a complete pain in the ass.
It's like one of the most complex systems we have in the game. And it's such a small part in the overall game, really.
And the benefit of like dealing with this kind of stuff is that it's very performant. But because it makes all these assumptions to become more performant, it also means it's harder to work with, because it makes certain assumptions that things work a specific way when then we go against that. Yeah.
Because I wonder if I can do this.
Solution: nuke the planet. Exactly.
Freeze. I can't remember what the command is. Whatever. Ignore that. Yeah. So the Foliage system is kind of custom made for our game, and that's also one of the reasons why it's a bit tricky for us to we can't replace it with Nanite because it's our own Foliage system. It doesn't go with the way Epic has made it. Cool. There were something else on my notes. I kind of wanted to jump over to Bamboo Fields if we're done talking about this stuff. Or was it something we talked about in the Titan Forest that we want to show off more?
I mean, I also want to address like there's always some questions about terraforming, and it's kind of the same situation. Like, it seems logical from a real world perspective that you can just modify the terrain, but in order to support that in a game, you need to make an insane kind of system for it, and the way the landscape is generated doesn't support that at all, and we would have to make a whole different system for that. And like seeing it like being done in the engine, you have an entire engine that facilitates that kind of stuff. Our game does not have that. It would require us to like create a whole bunch of different features to do that, and we don't really see the benefit for this game of doing that either, of like how much terraforming would add versus how much work it would be to add that. If a game is designed from the ground up with that in mind, of course, yes, it's a part of that game, it's a part of that vision, and everything ties into that. For us, it would be kind of a gimmick at most.
Unless we address all the design issues that come with it, but that's a whole can of worms.
That would add years to our development.
Yeah, literally, and then at that point, and then even if we did that at the end, we'd like, how much better is the game? Maybe like 2% better. But, I don't know.
Exactly.
Is it worth
like
it?
The cost benefit, it's just way heavier on the cost side. So it's not worth it for us to do these kind of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dope. So let's move over to the elephant in the room. Let's show up Red Jungle first. Actually.
Yes. Red Jungle.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I finally got to work on this area, because I was the old Red Jungle, or the version of it that everyone still has the Christmas palette. My most hated green and red Christmas palette.
Oh, now I see what you mean. Yeah.
I never liked it. So the story about Red Jungle is like, Red Jungle is one of the last areas I worked on just before we went to early access, just before the game went live for everybody. And basically, we didn't really have the assets to make a red jungle. We didn't even have red landscape grass at that point. So I kind of just made do with our library and what we had at the time. And that was like half of the stuff we actually needed. So now we finally got around to it, and I got to make it in a proper red jungle. So we had like full repainting of the terrain. The red trees are still the same, but all of the landscape painting is different. All of the small foliage is completely overhauled. It is a proper red jungle now, actually. Oh, now you're entering the Bamboo Fields transition in progress. Go away. Turn back.
Well, if anything, it's like an interesting kind of before and after, right? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
this is looking super like dense and lush as well, like in certain parts. But then there's the paths, super nice.
More towards the right. You're going towards Bamboo Fields. So yeah.
I have to, because the thing for me, I think also because you're working with this, Hannah, but like part of me is like, wow, Bamboo Fields still kind of looks dope right now, even though it's in this weird state. Because when I was scouting the teaser that got scrapped, original first video we were going to release, I filmed a lot of stuff in Bamboo Fields, and then you were like, no, it's all broken. I'm like, well, it looks cool though.
I mean, the ideas are there, because with Red Jungle, it was kind of less so. Yeah, there's stuff.
Here's one of the examples I mentioned before. Like,
beautifully in progress.
Yeah, rivers meet.
So yeah, this new water is much better. It was kind of like this red-green, disgusting stuff on there before. It was bad. Yeah, also something that changed in this area, that there's more like open parts, more paths clearly going through the area. So it's less like claustrophobic in general.
This is shallow water, right? So you can still drive here.
Some of it is, some of it isn't.
Yeah. Because it's a lot of like more dense, so it's harder to like drive around here. I feel like this is more of a you're on your foot pathing here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stuff like that, exactly. It's all like that's all fairly new, like the pathing that's there.
I have to remind myself where I am constantly because I keep getting we're going towards Bamboo Field, but there's still a bit of it. Let's see.
Yeah, this all lower area as well. There's so much change happening to base terrain. In here, no, again, it's all small changes. It's like smoothing and mostly painting and like just getting rid of the rough edges, those kind of things. It shouldn't affect you. Not really. You know, should, again, as always.
I can hear the crackling. There's a nuclear order. There was a ridge somewhere around here. I don't remember if we used this footage in the world video, but there was actually a shot that I made where there was like a tick walking on like a path. It was like shot downward. I had to remove like a whole fucking rock to get that shot. And we didn't use that shot. I think I put so much effort into that one.
Oh well.
It's still hurting.
Yeah, release the Snutt cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Release the Snutt cut for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, this area is dope. I love Red Jungle was one of my favorite areas to run around in when I started playing the game for the first time.
What is wrong with you? The place is terrifying.
Yeah, now we're going into Bamboo Fields again.
But it's such a dude. I'm constantly on the corner here. Like yeah. I'm getting it.
Maybe you can go to the westernmost area with the overhanging cliffs and stuff.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Let's go, gamers!
Oh jeez. Oh,
this would actually be a pretty cool like drone. You know, PVE drone. What's it called? PR drone.
Hey, edit in progress area. This is Bamboo Fields.
Ignore that. it's just going fast. I gotta go fast. And they do like the weird
follow
like.
river, you'll get there.
Oh
God, the lag is not
I'm about to
helping,
throw
so
up.
please stop.
We're gonna have like 1,600 people about to throw up. 700 people.
It's fine. Oh, here it is. Oh no! Wait, it's there. That was not supposed to be there.
Oh, you left the static mesh.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God, Snoop.
Commit it.
Shit.
No, this is already committed.
Yes.
Oh wait. I wonder if it's actually committed though, because it might be I'm still on my branch. But this is the shot I was working on. I had to remove like this whole thing.
I don't think. I mean, unless you updated very recently and you got my Rocky Desert changes. This is.
Yeah, here it is, that little guy. Oh, I'm
Easter
just a
egg,
little.
yeah.
I'm just a little beanie. I'm just out here walking. Don't worry about me. I wonder if the nuclear
Have you
hog is
considered a voice acting career?
Oh yeah.
for sure. Hire me. Yeah.
All right, I will.
Hey everybody, if you want to have a Snutt as a voice actor in your game, just give me a call. Okay, bye. Oh shit! I fell through the
Still
world.
see the outline.
Don't worry about it. What were we talking about?
Yeah.
The cliffs part?
Oh yeah, you're here. You were already there.
Okay.
That was the area. This here. Like a lot of the overhanging stuff.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Overhanging rocks up there, behind you, above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stalactites.
Yes.
Because they hang on tight, right?
I was just guessing.
Sure.
That's how you remember.
It's a 50-50
I
shot.
use a
Stalagmites.
not safe for work trick to figure out which one's the hanging one,
Stalagmite.
which one's the standing one.
You might step on them.
Okay.
All right, let's check out this area over here. Cool. Flowers, huh? Wow, look at that.
Yep.
And hands. You can see a little bumblebee here, something like that. Cool. Okay. Anyways,
Moving on.
is this new water? No, it's not.
No.
It just looked like it was rippling and shit.
We push up with all Nanite, true.
Cool. Is this now when we talk about Bamboo Field? Is this the moment? I'm gonna go there now. We actually, fun fact. When Jace recorded this video, he had one set of information, and then as development went on, things changed. So I made like an addendum to the video. Even in the addendum, we changed it.
Nice.
Yes, because it's a bit of a tricky story.
Yeah. So now we're in Bamboo Field, which is like this area is a little bit messed up. Or do you want to?
You can see it right here. I think with the small paths, it's kind of there. So basically, what happened here is that the landscape and the foliage are different versions of this area. So what happened is that we were working on this area, and it went in a direction that we weren't really happy with. So we wanted to revert it. But the problem was, this happened after our transition to Unreal Engine 5. So reverting it would mean going to the Unreal Engine 4 version of this area, which was impossible to do. So we kind of, for a while, we had the problem that, okay, we can't revert this. What do we do? But then Ben, because he's a wizard, figured out a way to revert the area partially, but only the foliage. So basically what happened is that we got most of the foliage back from the old area, the old version of this area, but all the landscape was still from the new version that we weren't too happy with. So those two are now completely disconnected. So now there's a lot of floating stuff here. There's the landscape and the foliage basically don't really work together anymore because they're from different versions of the area. So yeah, Unreal Engine 5.
Good shit.
Blessing in disguise. Very, very well disguised.
The transition just works, right?
Yeah,
it just
exactly.
works.
But which means that like we're gonna try to fix the worst of the bugs here before the update, so there's not too much like in the way for people. But this area is definitely still going to change because, of course, we have like the new landscaping, the old foliage, and neither is exactly as we wanted. So we'll be revisiting this area and giving it a pass. Now, what exactly that entails, we don't know yet. We never really know until I go into an area and I develop the vision for it. So I do a bunch of tests. And I try to find, new combinations. What is wrong with it? What do we need to fix? Just finding a vision, kind of like we do with all the other biomes as well. But I think this area is going to change the most from all the areas that are still left.
But I think that's kind of interesting how, like, at the moment, we don't really know exactly what, like, we don't have a vision for how Bamboo Fields are going to look like. Yeah, Bambi Forests. This is where the shooting happens. Spoilers.
I mean, we definitely want to make the palette more interesting because it's kind of very one note now. And there's a bunch of rough landscaping here that we want to fix. And also, this is one of those areas where we want to improve the pathing, add better roads, do that kind of stuff. So that's stuff that we're hoping to get in for sure. But yeah, it's impossible to tell you the details because we don't even know that ourselves yet.
We're doing one thing at a time, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Right now, I'm very busy wrapping up Rocky Desert and Tiny Forest.
Very cool.
Thanks, Hannah. Helps a lot.
Yeah.
Appreciate your work.
I want to see if the area that I loaded in is there. There's one place where there were so many. Nah, it's gone. One version of this was just covered in these like bamboo sticks.
Oh yeah, it's on the right, like right end of the.
Oh, you mean
at least
on the right edge of the biome?
Northwest, like very.
Northwest.
The northwest upper corner.
I'm flying as fast as I can.
There it is.
Oh, did I miss it? Oh, here it is. Yeah.
This. Like this, for example, is like, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
But it's kind of terrible to play. So it's something that we wanna fix as well. Also, on that note, the bamboo is completely new as well. Like that asset's been overhauled entirely.
I thought it looked different.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was because I'm rarely here or if it's because there was a change, but
like we did that when we worked on Red Jungle.
Bambi looks great. Yeah. Bambi Forest.
I mean, yeah, for avid chainsaw users, this is a great area.
Yeah, this is.
If you're ever frustrated with the game, just come here and spend
yeah, exactly.
a
just
good
go
10
ham.
minutes. Yeah,
throw
and
some
you can get back to building.
Bring a bunch of cluster nobelisks and just fucking go ham.
I might even thank you. No.
That's actually how we work on it in it, just bring out the guns.
Vincent just asked a question that literally also just came to my mind. It's so weird because it came to my head and I looked at chat and it was there and I had a weird. Am I chatting? Is anything real?
Is this like the not Tenet, the Inception thing, where like they went into your dreams?
Yeah, something. It was very strange. Turns out I'm also Vincent. So it's the point of the game is to destroy the world and industrialize it and remove the beauty of it, but that doesn't hurt you when you put so much time into this.
No.
And the point of things to remove it all.
It weirdly it doesn't. You'd expect so, but for some reason no. Part of it is part of it. I joke about this, but I'm also a little bit serious about it. Like something that I
There it is. That's not supposed to be
is this a you
there.
thing again?
Yeah, that's not supposed to be there.
God damn it. No, but something I always joke about is that I like to make people feel as guilty as possible for destroying the environment, and that's partially true. Mostly, I think that like on a conscious and subconscious level, the environments have a lot more impact on people than maybe they are aware of, because like the most important part is really like first impressions are always like the most important with these kind of things, because that you're going to carry that with you and they're going to be like the lenses that you're going to wear for the rest of the game. So I think it is very important to make a good first impression with any biome, but also I don't really mind that the point of the game is destroying an area, because also it's not entirely, it's the point in the beginning because you kind of have to, but after that you can work with the environment, and I've seen some great builds that use the environment like really well, and like, you know, like super cool waterfall factories, or people that have like little shrines with parts with trees and forest parts, which is great. I love to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this is one of the shots that I was working on.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I don't really mind at all, because like a lot of the map also usually is left untouched and people still go out exploring, and there's some players that really focus more on exploring and some players that focus more on building, and then I do it for the people that explore. You know, it's really not.
But it really does. I think like putting in so much effort to the world just has so much value, because either people will keep some of it there and then they get to just continue to enjoy it, or they'll work with it if they want. And that's another play style, and then they can enjoy it in that capacity. But then removing it, like it being so beautiful and then removing it, like creates a starker like difference, right? Like from and tells a bit more of a story, I think, than if it was just like a sparse area that, you know, we just quickly threw together because you would destroy it anyway. So exactly. I think there's more impact in every case. I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And like everyone will still experience the area before they destroy it. Like they're still gonna see everything.
I try to avoid destroying as much as I can. It's like an added challenge. So like, how do I build without removing the trees?
I often don't remove stuff either. I usually find clearings myself. I think partly it's because I lack the vision to be like, if I remove the trees here, this will be a big, you know, I don't know, like if I was a more experienced builder, maybe I'd be able to see like, oh, if I destroy some of the terrain, I can work with this. But usually I just like look for stuff that already makes sense to me in my brain and then go with it. So I end up not cutting a lot of things down.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm in the most pain when I have to play myself and I have to use biomass, because I just, like, I can't pick which part I'm going to destroy, because I'm just like, oh, but that looks good, and, like, oh, no, I built that. I don't want to touch it. It's mainly a problem when I play. When other people play, I'm like, it's just great. It's just people having options and how they want to play. I'm all for it. If that means they destroy the entire environment.
And as Strife79 says, in that case, why not build upwards, as in the sky? And some people do that. You can do that too if you like. And then you don't have to destroy anything if you don't want to.
You can also kill the animals. Just go on a killing spree because you can convert them to biomass, I believe.
True.
Yeah, exactly. Save the trees, kill the animals.
Yeah, save the trees, kill the animals. Save the frames, kill the animals. Let's see. You mentioned the Abyss Cliffs, what we were talking previously as well.
Oh yeah, that one's received some polish as well. Mainly,
this one
Foliage,
is
really...
one of those areas probably because there's so many cliffs where you won't see in the editor. It won't look super nice because the grass is missing. But
right, yeah.
This,
I mean, this one has received some foliage polish.
Oh, this is sick.
Kind of, we removed deprecated assets and like added some new ones to make it more shiny. And I mean, we can also fly through Eastern Dune to show off some of the roads that have been built there, because that's like a pretty impactful change, I think.
You say Eastern Dune, is that like the Dune Maze or the Oasis, or?
No, the one that's called Eastern Dune.
Because that one is on this map that I have.
Eastern Dune Forest is
it?
Next to, it's between Grassy Fields and Southern Forests and Titan Forest and Bamboo Fields.
I don't know what to tell you. It's not here. Or maybe it's
okay.
like, because like the map I have here is older one.
It's still.
Wait, say that again. It's between
Southern Forest, Grass Fields, Bamboo Fields, Titan Forests, Abyss Cliffs. Blue Crater. It's like surrounded.
Oh wait, is it this one?
Yep.
Ah, okay. I mixed this area with a different area in Desert and
so yeah,
the Dune Desert.
We did some foliage polish here. Nothing too big. But the main change here is like you're going already through it. Like, is we added roads, and this thing changed. Like that node moved. Yeah.
Oh
that
yeah,
was
it was
in the
over
middle
here
of the
before.
sand area before, but it looked kind of
here.
bad.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
So we made it.
Ooh. Interesting, chat. That's a pretty. I think what's gonna happen is if you have machines on this node, they're still gonna work, but they're gonna be hovering over here instead.
Yep.
And they're gonna be like consuming from this node, so you can't place.
And you won't be able to build back on here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that node is still taken, even if.
I had a feeling these, because like the branches on these roads,
they're new.
They felt new because I was flying around here for a different thing before I started doing shots, and I was like,
and now we're
this feels
entering
new.
Titan Forest in progress stuff. Yeah. But it's basically like these used to be kind of sand wells before, and they were kind of all closed off with like these small like walls of grass. So what we did is we made kind of gaps in those in a way to make roads, to make everything feel much more connected and easier to navigate.
Is this shot? Well, sorry, I got sidetracked here. No, it's wait, what the hell? I don't know what's going on there. Ignore me. Cool, Eastern Dune, and then Coin Forest. Yeah, going down this direction.
Yeah, that's a sub-biome of Eastern Dune, so that one's been updated too. There's a lot of world stuff in this update, y'all. We worked really hard.
It's a small update.
It's a small update for everyone but us.
we need to stop with the whole it's a small update thing.
Yeah.
I think every single time we've said that it hasn't been a small update.
Defined, because like if you look at the patch notes, I think the patch notes are way longer on like update 5 than like 6, 7. But yeah, it's not awesome. It's like, who is it small for? Like,
yeah, maybe it's smaller than another update, but that doesn't mean it's a small update.
Yeah.
And every time we say it's a small update, like I feel like community feels like the impact has been huge. So it's been anything but.
And there's that canyon if you go the other way where you were going before. That like canyon area down there, it was pretty much entirely empty before, and now it's filled up with stuff, and it's like part of it's transitioned to swamp.
Wait, this is this area.
Yeah, it's completely. It has foliage now. It was essentially entirely empty before.
Damn. I was not expecting that.
Yep.
This area to me was just gone. Like, I couldn't find it.
Like, it didn't really matter because there was nothing here, right? So
No, what I mean is like I was kind of looking for that old area, and I was like, I can't find it, and the reason was because it's not there anymore. It's like this
It
looks like
looks
this now. Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
Small update. We are just changing the engine in the world, and like
Yeah.
that's not even all. Like, there's more things to talk about.
Yeah.
New video on Friday, by the way. New video on Friday.
Like all the cool new shoes we're adding to the game.
New shoes. Let's go.
That was the lamest fake leak I could have come up with. Fucking whatever. Or is it fake? Dun dun dun.
Speaking of, where was our video this past Friday? We talking about it a bit earlier. Ran into issues and couldn't put it out, unfortunately. Sorry, but we have, theme of this update. We keep running into different issues. It's not the same issues, different issues. So we're gonna have another video this week, and then I think the video that we were gonna do last week will come out later. Still gonna come out.
The schedule has. Have we released a single video according to our original schedule? I don't think we have.
No.
Oof.
I
which is
think
why-
I think it's a solid no. Let me double check.
But I say that, but also at the same time, we never really have a schedule. We always kind of like work with. what we
No,
have.
but I mean, things have been going more and more like, or less and less to plan this time around. But it's okay. It just is what it is, right? We just need to adapt and move on. And like it still works. We still get videos out. We're still announcing stuff. Everything's gonna be okay.
It's okay. It's fine, guys. It's fine. Don't worry. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. Don't worry. It's fine.
See, the thing is though, like game development is like one of the most messy things you can ever do. But it's kind of rare, I feel, Snutt, when it comes to like our community management on the public facing stuff, that it reflects the messiness that happens behind the scenes, which is completely typical, right?
Yeah.
And I think we get lucky. I think we reflected a little bit. All right, we're not perfect by any means, but like I think in this case, it looks like more things are messy because you can see the messiness because Snutt and I aren't getting what we plan to do out. But the process is always and has been for years, constantly running into roadblocks, adapting, running into roadblocks, adapting. The only difference is that you can see it on our YouTube channel this time. But yeah, it's just how it is. It's just game development.
Yeah,
that's why we don't believe in like giving dates and stuff like that, because you just can't predict anything.
Y'all should see the broken state the game can be in sometimes. Like, holy shit.
You'd have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah, I always kind of use this metaphor for Satisfactory, where Satisfactory is a mansion on stilts in a swamp. It looks great
Kind of true. Yeah.
when you're in it, but when you're actually the one working on the house, oh boy.
Yep.
It's bad. But that's probably most games.
I think it's probably most games.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like all duct tape and glue.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
you zoom in, or you like open a door that you weren't supposed to open, and it's just like it's that GIF
So
where
true.
everything's on fire.
It's like the
Yeah.
gameplay's fine so long as you don't do these things.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Or you go to this area. Don't go to this area. Not
Yeah.
right now.
Turn around. Don't go to the bamboo fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quickly wanted to mention also something here. So this is one of the old shots that I made. Somebody asked about the depth of field stuff. So technically, the depth of field stuff. I also made a Reddit post, by the way, that I commented on this here as well a while ago. Technically, the engine has support for depth of field in the game, and hopefully we can add that to the photo mode that we have in the game, so you can make more beauty shots. And that's what we're using when we're making these like teaser videos and trailers. Like every trailer we've made, that's always been in engine. We do a little bit of cheating sometimes, where we load in more things that you would necessarily see in the game and like remove laws and stuff like that. But for most of the time, when we make videos and teasers and stuff like that, it's all in engine, and then we, make it cinematic. And making it cinematic makes it look way better than when you're just running in the game, obviously. But hopefully in the future we can add, depth of field and like better control in photo mode, so you can make like pretty much the same stuff that we're making in our trailers. There is a mod out there where you can actually create most of the stuff, like even the sequencer stuff, where I'm like programming like, animations and stuff like that. There's a mod that can do that too.
Oh, that's sick.
It's called I'm blanking right now, but yeah, there's a mod that we can do some stuff like that, and hopefully we can add it to photo mode in the future.
Yeah, there's been
Fix it cam, thank you. That's the one.
Fix it cam. That's,
yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, people have wanted to make changes to the photo mode, so hopefully that's something that will happen before at some point.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're kind of coming to the end of the stream here, and I am fresh out of my notes here.
Your dad sent you a message on Teams, by the way.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He just told me to tell you.
Oh yeah, we can do that. So actually, maybe we have already done that, Jace. Actually, because here's the thing. Okay, so I've talked about we did a showcase with Lumen as well a few streams back where I showcased like what it looks like with it on and off, and maybe we can revisit some of those videos. But kind of want to show real quick what the game looks like when you turn Lumen on and off. So Lumen, for those who don't know, is the global illumination system that Epic have been working on. That's like a combination of different ray tracing techniques to make global illumination. And I believe this is with it off, and this is with it on. Ooh, big difference, right?
Wow, let's go. Ooh.
It's okay. Certain situations, it's hard to tell which one is which.
Whoa, 2%.
All right.
The thing is,
so someone says showcase with Lumen. Problem is, when you enable Lumen in caves, you're not gonna see anything.
No.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to tell which one is which sometimes for me, because I think I've accidentally had Lumen on when I shouldn't have had when I made certain shots. But it's in different scenarios, it's hard to tell. In this shot, it's really difficult to tell which one is Lumen and which one isn't. I think if I set it to nighttime, it might be more obvious, or maybe not. We'll see. Where is the setting thingy? Wait.
Show us the cave. We can maybe just check it out. It's gonna be nothing then. But
yeah, I have a video that better showcases.
Might just see like pinpoints.
So let's
can
try.
Can we go into a cave and drag a light around? Is that like easy to do, or?
Yeah, we can do that.
That could be fun.
Okay, yeah. So during nighttime, you also can't really tell the difference.
Yeah, it's really in like more heavily shadowed areas that you can really tell.
Yeah, but I think it's mostly cool when you're building factory stuff and you actually using lights and actually get the like the screen space stuff.
I feel like it's more apparent on factory buildings.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that just me? Like on inorganic things, it seems to. I don't know.
Actually, let me show the video I showed a couple of weeks ago. So here's, I think we're still on. Sorry, here's the video I wanted to showcase. I think audio is still running. Yeah. So this is with Lumen off. This is what a factory building looks like in the game in general. Here in Grassy Fields, and like this little house here. Walk in. So this is like we've lit the environment so that everything makes sense, and you know, everything's fine when you walk into a factory building like this. But when you turn Lumen on, same thing here. Here you can actually tell better when you're closer to materials, because here the color on the walls is more active. But when you walk inside, you know, it's hard to see what's going on.
But then of course you could add some lights, which will help with that.
But like if you didn't have anything here, it's cool too because it's reacting to like the build effects.
Yeah, that was sick. That was really nice, actually.
Yeah. But the cool thing is like, sick. So I think I pop open.
Oh, that's cool too.
Yeah. So if I remove like a part of the roof here, get this like shading here.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
This is where Lumen really shines, because it's like a combination of different ray tracing techniques to create the global the GI. So when you're building factories, you have to have lights. Like if you're building anything indoors, that's the problem. And there are ways to sort of circumvent this with like making it so that, you know, it fits better with Lumen in mind. But the problem that we have is that like we want to focus on what the game will look like without Lumen and light it for that mostly, because that's we believe how most people will play it. And then, you know, it's not officially supported I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. So just to clarify this was in the video that we put out a couple weeks ago, but we aren't officially supporting Lumen in the sense that like it'll be in the game and you can turn it on if you want, but we're not going to light the world and we're not going to make changes to the game so that Lumen is supported in all reasonable situations. Like if you just walk into a factory, maybe it should be lit a little bit, right? We're not gonna solve those issues when it comes to Lumen, but you can try and solve them yourself with lights if you want to do that. It's up to you. We're just gonna give you the option to play with it if you want to do that. And we can't promise a good experience or a well-crafted one.
Yeah, and then the main reason for that is because it's like supporting two different systems.
Whoa, my eyes!
Yeah, so this is cool. With lights, though, explained this as well last week, or the week before. With lights, lights in our game, they are not actual lights. Signs that are lit up like this are not actual lights in our games. They're emissive textures or materials, which means that just material is rendered by its own. It's not it's not affected by lighting in the scene. But with Lumen, the system that they made is like actual emissive materials actually emit light on stuff that's close to it, in proximity to it. So signs can actually light up rooms in Lumen, which wasn't possible before. So that's why I made this like headache of this scene over here, where this room now is just lit with signs.
Oof.
And it's pretty cool.
I love the teal and purple on the roof.
Yeah, the streamer colors.
Colors.
Yeah. So I guess that's just one thing to keep in mind. Here's another demo in the wild where I think it was a little bit more obvious which one's which, because like the shadows look a bit better when you're close to them.
Yeah, the shadows look better.
We go back. I missed it. Sorry, I looked at chat. I want to see it again.
You missed it, Chase. So like here, if you look at the shadows on the ground specifically, they look more soft and accurate in Lumen. They also get they're a little bit more, I wouldn't say detailed, but they make more sense if that like in towards
exactly. There's more of a gradient kind of happening where like areas that are more shaded actually get darker versus areas that are light shaded. So that's why like with like cliff overhangs and such, you can actually end up in spots where you can't see anything.
So in this shot in particular, like you don't really see a big difference between Lumen on and off. If I'm just jumping back and forth here.
Yeah, very.
But then like on these, when you're up
I think
close,
the other thing to remember with a lot of these before and afters as well is like sometimes the difference is super noticeable in the before and after. But when you're playing the game, you're not playing the game with before and after, right? You play on one or the other, and so like that contrast is not apparent. In most cases, in cases like this, it will be apparent. It absolutely will when we see this. That's obviously a major difference and very apparent. But in most cases, I think you'd be hard pressed to really notice the difference. So like, without toggling it on and off repeatedly to see the difference.
Yeah, and for me, when I'm playing the game and I'm switching back and forth, I prefer using not Lumen. For the sole reason that like my frame rate tanks on my hardware. It's very CPU heavy Lumen because it's apparently it's faster on CPU than GPU in when they've been testing it. And Satisfactory is a very CPU intense game, so like those two systems are gonna fight it out. The game thread and like the draw thread are gonna battle it out. So like I think on my machine I have a GTX 1080, I have i7 67000K or whatever it's called, the CPU, and when I turn Lumen on I get like half the frame rate. So I go from 12 ms to like 27 or something like that. So it's expensive, but it's really pretty like when you want to take beauty shots and stuff like that. It's like for me it's like I turn it off sometimes when I'm like walking around and just looking at my factory. But when I'm actually like building and shit, I turn it off, essentially.
Yeah, I have to turn it off whenever I'm working in very shaded areas because I won't be able to see anything.
Yeah.
In engine. But like in more open areas, it's doesn't really make a difference too much.
It's Wilfron. It's not a console toggle. It'll actually be in the menu for you guys, so you will be able to like switch it on and off.
I wonder if a console toggle would be a good idea, because for those who use console, it might be quicker than going into menus. I wonder.
Yeah, maybe
something to consider. But either way, it'll be in the menu and you can do it yourself.
Yeah, it'll be available, but it's not like officially supported, so to speak, because it's very hardware dependent, and yeah, the lighting isn't adjusted for it at the moment.
This is all post Unreal 5, correct? This is we're in Unreal 5 now. Yeah.
Yeah. So this
and
is
that's what we have now, and we'll have for update 8. So you guys don't have it now, but that's what will come with update 8.
Yes. Cool.
All right.
Minus 1 minute for Q&A. I mean, we've answered a couple of questions.
It's already 6. Jeez.
Yeah, it's already 6.
One video I kind of want to share real quick is actually from the Satisfactory News channel.
Oh yeah.
Some people have asked about GPU stuff and hardware stuff. I don't have any other information about that, but I think Mason, the person who runs Satisfactory News, who also does video editing for us, by the way, and he runs this channel, he knows a little bit more about free shout out. There he is, actually, Mason Zero Gaming. He knows a little bit more about hardware than like I don't know too much about it, so I can't really talk about it. But like, you can check out this video where he talks a little bit about Unreal Engine 5 stuff, and he also talks about some stuff regarding hardware. So I saw that some people were concerned about a really high minimum required GPU. Yeah, and we can sort of debate what we want to do with that. However, that GPU, I think it's like its model number is like kind of high, but its actual performance is kind of low.
Yeah, exactly. It's a modern GPU, but it's not actually, modern isn't always better. GPU. Yeah,
exactly. So even though it's a newer GPU, that doesn't mean it's powerful, and that doesn't mean your older GPU can't, like, you could have an older GPU, but it's more performant than that one. So if you check out that video, towards the end of the video, he talks about that, and that might be something worthwhile to consider. But at the same time, if that's just confusing in general, maybe there's just, I don't know, maybe something more we can do or something. I'm not sure, but like, yeah.
We talked about it quite extensively, or I talked quite extensively about it, the stream after that video was dropped, where, it is confusing with the specs and the hardware and like what specifically runs and whatnot. I don't think, like, for me, the game runs just as fine, and I have a fucking GPU from 2016 when I'm not using Lumen. So the general feeling I'm getting, and this is just my personal, feeling, is that like the specs isn't. You should probably try it out on your own before like saying that, my computer probably won't run anymore. There's probably computers that it won't run anymore but more so because of DirectX 12 support. Because we're leaning heavily on DirectX 12 support for a lot of features and a lot of optimizations in the game. You can still run the game with DirectX 11, but it's more of a fallback for us right now. And DirectX 12 is like the default renderer for us. I think that has a bigger play, if anything, when it comes to the support at the moment. But we'll see. We'll probably flesh out a bit more. Also, the process of how we figured out the minimum specs is like it's hard to like figure out what actual minimum specs are. So Jay said in the menu they're preliminary, and by gosh, we're sticking by that. They're preliminary. We'll sort of flesh it out more when we release it.
Yeah, maybe it's something that we can sort of more better define, and I think there's better communication that can happen there, because I also think that like the fact like maybe the selection of that GPU to say that that's the minimum is accurate, but it can maybe be misleading if people don't really know that.
Yeah.
Later model number doesn't mean faster than older model number. And then maybe what we should do is, should we pick a different model number that's early, that reflects it a little bit better? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's just something we can do to clear up the confusion. And then at that point, if the confusion is cleared up and people don't think that that's right, then we can like tackle that issue. But
yeah. Anyway, is there anything else worldwide that you want to mention, Hannah? Is there anything we haven't talked about?
Oh boy, I mean, I think we covered pretty much everything. And yeah, like areas, this has been mentioned in the video, but the areas that we have worked on now are essentially considered final. That doesn't mean there won't be changes happening depending on kind of like, I don't know, asset updates, or if we have to adjust for a new feature like this. And also like lighting, some of the lighting has been updated. A lot of the lighting broke actually in the engine switch, so there might be some iffy things going on, but we fixed a lot of it. But yeah.
Oh wait, this arch has been remade, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that one's been fully rebuilt. Yeah, because
shit.
it was made out of non-uniform cliffs, non-uniformly scaled cliffs. So this one, I did my best to kind of recreate it as best as possible with uniformly scaled cliffs. It's not exactly the same. It was impossible to recreate it the way it was, and I mean that's kind of goes for a lot of these things, because all across the world we've been kind of fixing as we encounter them the cliffs that are not scaled uniformly, as in they're squashed or they're stretched or they're basically that breaks them, not just visually, but it can also cause some physics problems when playing the game.
Yeah, we've had that problem for a long time.
Yeah, because a lot of the old structures were built out of non-uniformly scaled cliffs, but before we knew that was illegal, apparently. But the problem is some of the cliffs that are scaled that way, it's just kind of impossible to fix them without breaking the entire structure that they're a part of. So we're leaving those as is with the hope that it won't cause any issues. We will address, of course, if any issues come up, and we will fix them then. But yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, because it means actual structural changes that affects people's factories. So we want to see what we can get away with, and we're just fixing the worst of it and the stuff that is easy to fix that doesn't really break anything else.
Man, there was a cliff setup, a combination of cliffs
here you can see there's a few
that
here.
I was looking for, that I thought was really interesting how you made it.
Here, below here, down. Like here you can see that one is super squashed.
Oh yeah.
Extremely squashed.
Oh, is
That's
this
one of
uniform?
those cliffs. The problem is, like, if a cliff
yeah.
is used, if the bottom and the top of a cliff are used, I'm basically in trouble with fixing this. Because like, how am I gonna find this? And the problem also is, like, we can technically scale an asset up infinitely. It's just gonna look terrible, and it will encroach also on the x-axis, on its width, essentially. So I could try to replace this with a cliff that is much flatter, but I would have to scale it up to such a point that would essentially break our scaling conventions, because then textures start looking bad, and you just
It's also collision, right? That gets
problems.
messed up. It's also collision, right? That gets messed up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was the
like,
original problem with, like,
specifically
vehicles.
on top of uniformly scaled cliffs.
So this is what
issues.
this particular cliff one looks like when it's uniformly scaled.
Yeah.
That wasn't even close. Holy
Exactly.
shit.
This is what I mean. It's a huge difference, and this is also an area I haven't really gotten to yet. But also, would be one of the cliffs where it'd be like, I'm not sure I can fix this in a way that doesn't encroach both upon the road that's up there and the river that's underneath.
Yeah.
You're gonna either need a whole other asset or like a bunch more pieces and to build it or something like that. It's not super straightforward.
There were loads of those in Rocky Desert too, and I fixed a bunch of them, but there's just sometimes just usually when they're used as overhangs, it's really hard to fix them.
Here it is. I found the one that I was looking for. This one I thought was really interesting. I think this is almost out. This is uniformal. So like, there's a combination of cliff faces here that I thought, like, oh, clever. Yeah, these are all uniformal. No, not this one. Oh. Yeah, it's really interesting because, like, I think in a lot of these cases, you'd need to like make, cliff parts that are specifically what you need. Like, it's really powerful to be like, okay, I want this kind of arch thing, right? And then, okay, but then if I scale things and mold it into like what I kind of need, then I get what I want. You know, it's very powerful to just be able to do that, but that comes with those problems, and it's kind of, I assume, annoying to have to go back and be like, you need to either make custom assets for the stuff that we've sculpted, or not sculpted, but like modeled here. Have we made all these cliffs ourselves, or are they?
The cliff set, I believe, is made by us. Yes, the grid, all the cliff sets.
Because somebody asked earlier if we're using like quick cell scans or something like that. I don't believe we are. Or are we?
No, I think
for
some of
the old coral stuff, right?
Some of the old coral stuff, exactly. They were mega scans, but we've essentially deprecated all of those, and the corals that we still use have been heavily edited.
Because we had those corals in the office, right?
Yeah, we did. We had like statues of corals, and then one of our artists, I believe, made scans of those to use in the game. But they were very unoptimized, sadly, and we kind of went into an art direction that didn't really fit those assets. So,
someone asked earlier, by the way, I'm necroing a topic here, but have we found any place for the willow?
I've been trying my best. Like I put them in my pitches.
One lonely weeping willow.
Yeah, because I was really hoping I could use it in a Titan Forest, and in some of the tests I did for Titan Forest, they were in there because I was like, please, can we have them?
What about Paradise Island? We just plop it. That's where shit goes to die.
That's where shit goes to die. Yeah.
All the deprecated assets. Will
just put them on Paradise Island.
Yeah.
It's like a little museum.
No, I've been trying, but it's also apparently a very tricky asset to actually make work well, because of like the just the way a willow works and its leaves, versus other leaves. It's like,
Okay.
Basically, I don't know exactly what it is, and I'm not sure how I would be able to explain it, but it's a tricky asset to get right. I really love willows. Thank you. Perfect. Snutt. Commit.
I fixed it for you.
Yeah, commit.
I really love willows in real life, and I really like the vibe they give off. But
yeah.
I want it might not be in the cards.
For sentimental sake, it'd be sick if we didn't get one in. I understand.
Oh, whoops! I think I removed too much.
Oh no!
It's
Get push.
Yeah. No.
We don't even use get
revert. Yeah, we don't even use get. That's the best part. But I'm gonna do it anyways.
Part of the world deleted in protest for the willows.
Look how peaceful the landscape looks without the island. Oh, so much better, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah, I love the floating cliffs are so much better.
Oh yeah, whoops, wrong button. Whoops.
And in using the world builder at Paradise Island, well, we wanna see how we are going to fix that, and that's one of the reasons why we're not really working on Paradise Island, because it's actually way too close to the world border, and you could like fall through the world, and it's like all kinds of issues there, and we're gonna see if we can fix it. It just kind of depends. It's one of our lowest priority areas, and we'll do what we can.
Look how nice this looks,
other
though.
stuff comes first, so it really depends on how everything goes.
Yeah, actually, that does look good. So I think we found a new level design.
You know what?
Yeah, we just remove it. Fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah.
We have a question, a bit of a change of topic, but I think important question. Do you have any information about what will happen to the alternative recipe for uranium rods in the future because of beacons in the recipe right now? So we have talked about this in the past, and we will be removing beacons from the game eventually. I believe it's going to be at like 1.0, and then at that point, that recipe will change, and then there'll be no more beacons in the game. The reason we're not doing it now, and we're just going to keep it in as it is that we do want to end up doing, there will probably be some rebalancing of recipes in the future, but we don't want to do small rebalances and make recipe changes, or too many of them, along the way, because that can mess with save files, progress, and things like that. So instead, we're just going to leave it as it is, and then when we do a rebalance and change the recipes, it's all going to come in one go, and then you have to deal with all of it at once. Then at least you don't have to do it multiple times. It's just one go. But there'll be more information about that later. But the intention is to remove the recipe, or not the recipe necessarily, but beacons from that recipe. Yeah. Commit deleted Paradise. Deleted everything but Paradise Island.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it Paradies Island? I think I changed it.
Yes.
I think I changed it in the recent map. Maybe I shouldn't have.
It might still be on our maps, Paradise Island.
The ones that I released on the press kit has Paradise now.
Yeah.
Maybe we should change it back to Paradise. I think it's funny.
It's very appropriate.
Yeah,
it's where you go to die, and also we might kill it.
Oh, you mean it's not dies as in DIE anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I wasn't sure what I should do with that last time. I was like, oh, I'll change it to the correct spelling.
I didn't even notice that when I posted it.
Yep.
It's merch. Paradise Island is merch.
Paradise Island merch.
Yeah.
Save Paradise Island.
Yeah. Who cares about the Willows? What about Paradise Island?
I mean, maybe they're connected.
Yup. I haven't been keeping up too much with chat, so I think you have a better sense, Jace,
I have been,
of if there's anything people have asked that...
I saw a question about when story 1.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. I'm fixing a thing. Sorry, guys.
We use perforce if when we're not using Git, which we're not using Git. Actually, I'm using Git for some of the tools that we've made for streaming, but that's a different topic.
When 1.0, when we're done.
We're using perforce for everything game related.
Will progress carry over to 1.0? As far as I know, yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be kind of the same as most updates, just the 1.0 one.
What about the Pillar Island? Where was this? To the south of Green Fields. Pillar Island. Do you know what they're referring to?
Pillar Island, south of Greenfields. I'm not sure what they mean with that one. It's very... We've got loads of those.
Is it like... Oh, I think I know. I think I know what they're referring to actually.
Off the tip of the map.
I don't think that's a playable area, and it probably won't be a playable. I wonder if it's in this version actually anymore. I haven't seen it because it's usually.
Oh, is it that one there?
I might have deleted. Is it? Yeah, is it this one? Oh, come on.
Might have deleted it.
I might have deleted it, but it might be this
area. One. I mean, we're making changes to this part of the map. I'm not sure how much we want to make those kind of places playable. And I don't know.
Is it this island?
They're kind of part of the vista, but yeah.
Yeah, because I think the kill sphere or whatever, the kill box, I think it's like starts somewhere around here. So I don't think you can actually go to this pillar.
Paradise Pillar.
Paradise Pillar. The T's pillar.
Yep.
What's on there? We should put something you want to get and you can't get it because you die if you do.
One thing we haven't answered today, which we've gotten a lot of questions of, which is naturally is update 8 release date, experimental release date. Is there an approximate thing? So the thing is, guys, we don't have a date that we want to say publicly yet. And that's unfortunately just kind of it. So if unless we're confident we can hit a date, we don't want to say it. That's just a rule that we've always had throughout development. Now, when we say roughly, I want to say it's in the very near future, I suppose. It's not like it's 3-4 months. Well, maybe it will be. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to stop right now because the reality of game development is that anything can happen at any time. And so we just want to accept that reality. Okay, so we just don't know. We have dates internally, but until we're confident in it, we're not gonna say anything. And I don't even want to, like, the fact that I even said maybe it's 3-4 people are gonna latch onto that now. Yeah. So I guess I fucked up. But like, it's
you're fired.
We just don't know yet. And once we know a little bit more, we'll talk about it then.
I think the main thing for us, and I guess it's a little bit state of dev news maybe, but like the main for us really is like the whole switch to Unreal Engine 5 has made a lot of stuff uncertain, both in terms of how we like work, but also like how the state of the game has been, and it's like a lot of things that are coming together, like when it makes sense to release and like what the state of the game is and blah blah blah. And I think it's going to be very like kind of last second when we announce when the update is coming out, because there's still a lot of questions on our minds with the overall stability of the game with this transition in mind.
And the other thing with game dev, like sometimes things can feel really unstable but come together really quickly.
Yeah.
Like that's possible, right? It doesn't always happen. Sometimes it feels stable and then falls apart. Who knows? So that's why it's really hard to say anything, because like we have a date, and as we approach the date, we're like, we're still not sure. If we're not sure, maybe we should push it back, but things might fall into place and then everything's fine. But that's the thing. We just need to feel it out day by day. So yeah. It's not coming next week. I'll say that much. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Not next week. I'll tell you that much.
Or is it? Dun dun dun.
Not next week. Should be this year. But might not be. Who knows?
Pretty specific in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean that's probably a fair window.
Yeah.
Somewhere between next week, end of next week, and the end of the year. We think.
What if it was next week though, huh? Wouldn't that be funny? It's not though. But what if
it would not be funny. I would not have a good time.
Yeah, I don't think that would be funny at all.
It would be a little funny.
Please.
Literally no one would be happy. Yeah. Jokes I was having this week. Good one. Good one. Somewhere between now and then, exactly.
Will the swamp nuclear... Oh, come on. Why didn't it pin it? God damn it. But I think the overall question was if the cave with the nuclear stuff in the swamp, if that's going to change for this update. I don't know. Do you know, Hannah? We can check.
Not my wheelhouse.
We can check state of things as of this moment.
Wow.
Doesn't look changed.
Yeah, this looks the same.
No, that cave is gonna wait. It's gonna be addressed at a later date.
Yeah, later.
Still cooking, still in the oven.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing like caves in batches essentially. We just kind of do what caves we can for each update. Slowly take them off as we go.
Don't build in caves, by the way. Put node in cave.
Yes.
Yeah.
People pointed that out.
People, yeah. Still don't build in caves.
Put node in cave.
Yeah.
Yes. Oops. I saw a question about like after having the map sufficiently finished for you, would another map be possible? It'd be possible, but I wouldn't do it.
I would rather die.
I'd rather die. Yes. No, this is a gigantic map, and it's been a ton of work. I've been working on this for years now, and once this one's done, that's it. Like, whether anything else is going to happen is probably not going to have me involved. I have no idea. I wouldn't do it.
So after this map, you, Hannah, will not work on another satisfactory map.
No, I would probably get depressed. It's been a long time, and like a bunch of us also are like, we're pretty good with satisfactory. we're ready to start move on. Once we're done with this, once we're done with 1.0, we're gonna be glad to have something new happening. So right now we have no plans for adding anything. It would be dope to have more content, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to work on that.
Yeah, someone's saying map randomizer. Who knows? Could be.
I mean, that would be really cool if we
knows?
could do something like that.
Yeah.
Make something kind of.
This is why Hannah is training an intern.
That reminds me of something. Actually, currently the deposits on the map are randomized. They're not supposed to be, apparently.
Ooh.
I don't think they are.
Well, this is such a weird thing.
Yeah.
This is such a weird thing because you can ask some people and they're like, no, they're not randomized, and I'm like, they literally are randomized. Are they supposed to be randomized? Yeah, they're supposed to be. Are they? No, they're not. No. And it's so rare that within the company you ask different people and you get 50% different answers. This is one of the weirdest phenomenons that I've come across, where there's like this strange Mandela effect where people are like, no, they've never been randomized, and then half the people are like, yeah, they've always been randomized.
Yeah,
it's so interesting. It's so interesting.
Haunted.
So I don't really know what it's supposed to be. I think it's randomized now.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and I think that's a bug based on the meeting we had with the programmers, where they were like, "Wait, is it randomized? It's not supposed to be randomized."
Do you guys know what we're talking about? The ore deposits.
Yeah, some
right?
of these,
not the ones on top. Yeah, these little ones here. Things like
the
these.
random ones you find on the map.
Hold on, I gotta have the first delivery. No, kidding, but.
All right, let's do a quick unofficial poll on Twitch. All right, so press 1 if you think these deposits should be random. 2 if you think they shouldn't be random. Just unofficial.
No, I know they're random right now. The question is, opinions is what we're looking for here.
Looks like a lot of people prefer random, but there's still a lot of people who want set. Okay, interesting. 3 if you don't think they matter at all. I guess so. You could do that too. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. It is fairly mixed. Seems like it's skewed towards people wanting it to be random. All nodes should be random. I completely disagree. I think that could be a fun game mode if possible.
Yeah, it could be a fun game
but
mode.
I don't think that all nodes should be random. I don't think that flies with our vision of the game.
Not as a default.
No. It could absolutely be a really fun like game mode for sure though. Like if you're replaying the game and want to experience. Hey, what's this? This looks good.
So
hide all meshes.
So now that we're coming to the close, I'm gonna show real quick just what it looks. This is a little bit in the Unreal Engine 5 video too, but this is the landscape, basically underneath the hood when you don't have like all the stuff on top of it, and a random floating.
This is you against it.
What was that?
Is this you again? This floating thing?
Could be. But I think, I don't think this is actually floating because I think it's on like a cliff or something. Because if I load in this segment here, load region, boom, they're on the way.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Oh, that's weird. That's in that layer and the other ones aren't.
So this is the world partitioning thing where we can load in like smaller segments of a tile. It used to be, if you're loading in this area, you would either load in, let me see if I can actually recreate it. So if you were to load in how it used to work, if you want to load in just that cliff there, you would have to load in all this. Give it a second. Yeah. Boom. You have to load this entire segment. Just load it like this cliff. Whereas now, you can be like, unload, and then load. See how much faster that was?
Yeah. And then, of course, we could load a little bit more so that it's populated in the areas that you can sort of see here, right?
That's something I think, I haven't talked to Ben about this actually, so I'm not sure if I'm talking out of my ass, but I think this is something we also need to configure a little bit when, this might be like some feedback that we get from you during experimental, where how the draw distance, like how much we load in, find that like sweet spot where it's still smooth when we're loading areas, but you still see enough of the map. If you see this, you'll be like, what's going on?
Commit, says Dimfax. Yeah. No, I don't know. This looks fine. I think we found the sweet spot right here.
Yeah.
Very optimized.
Yeah. Because like there can be cases where like, because like in this situation here, we've loaded enough, right? Like this is fine. You're running around, but like if you were standing on top of this cliff when you were loading, for instance, it wouldn't work. So like there's some special magic that needs to go into like how the loading of the world partitioning works to make it look good.
Slider and settings. I actually don't think that's possible because I think this is okay. I might be talking out of my ass now, but my understanding is that things would still be like grouped up into tiles in a way, but that with these settings we can tweak those tiles to be a bit better, and then the logic behind when they load in can change too. So at the end of the day, at least the tile sizes or some. Am I wrong here? This is my understanding. You know what? I'm going to finish what I'm saying, but I don't know. I don't think it's completely right. Okay. So just take it with a grain of salt. I'll just finish what I said. But like, I think that when it comes to whatever tiles we end up having, we can now adjust those tiles to find a better sweet spot in development. But then when we export the game and cook it down, it still cooks down to tiles. I could be wrong.
I think it's partially true.
Or
if not fully true, but that's my understanding of it as well. there's some form of logic as to what is loaded in when, and it's not just tied to like just add more in the distance. Like it doesn't really work that way because they're kind of segmented.
Yeah, exactly.
But there might be aspects of what you're loading on the tiles that might be affected by that. So you could have some kind of, cold distance on certain assets or whatever.
And
but I'm not fully sure how that, because it's a new system, so I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. In any case, I doubt something like that will be in update 8.
Yeah.
But who knows what will happen.
There'll be some form of version of it, and then.
All right. A lot of people are saying motorcycles. What have I missed? I've seen motorcycles so many times in the stream, and typically we have 0 to 1 mention of motorcycles on a stream, and there's been like 10.
I feel like there's been at least one mention every stream since a while.
When did the motorcycles thing start?
I think so I thought it started with you because it started. I came back from a stream and it was a thing, and you were already tired of it.
All right, this must have been one of the other Jace clones that was doing that.
That's probably.
They didn't fill me in.
Motorcycles are the new golf, I guess.
Jesus.
We just now we open even more can of worms. Plus
now you acknowledged it. That was.
Yeah.
Not the first mistake, but one of them.
I think in one of the very early prototypes, we had like not a motorcycle, but a what's it called? Like a quad bike. Do you remember this, Jace? I think you were working on that system.
I don't think I ever worked on a quad bike.
Okay. What was it for? I can't remember. I remember seeing like the quad bike model sometime, but that might have just been for shits and giggles, because sometimes we just add dumb shit to the game.
Yeah, we have had dumb shit in the game.
When we're goofing around.
If that was there, it's real ancient.
Yeah, unless it was like some asset that we bought and used in development or something.
I don't know.
I don't know if your tabs are going out to stream right now, Snutt. I'm not sure. Desktop one, I'm not sure. Just
no.
I can see it on Discord, but I don't know if that's what's going out to stream.
Oh yeah, weird. Oh, it's probably because it's. Wait, how does that work?
Leaked. All right. Now I'm scared. Now I'm really scared. We've been going for 2.5 hours and we haven't leaked anything yet. Maybe we should wrap it up.
We have a good. We're in a good roll here.
Yeah. I'm scared. Okay. Well, I think that's probably it. I'm sure that there's probably still some other questions out there, but I think we've had a pretty good stream. Covered a lot of stuff. A super long stream today with Hannah joining us. So thank you so much, Hannah, for taking time to hang out. And of course, because you were here on the stream and not working in the world, the game has been delayed by 1 or 2 weeks?
Probably. Definitely 2 weeks. Yeah.
And we're also going to be sick after this. So
yeah, and if Snutt and I were working on the game and we weren't doing streams and making videos, then it would be done even sooner, of course.
Yeah. All those tweets that delayed the game by months.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for all the compliments.
What do you mean can't use the builder tools? Gene Facts, you just saw how good I was. I'm a pro, essentially. Yeah. I could be the next level designer. You don't know. Maybe I am the level designer.
We'll work on that.
Yeah, I'll probably get a review notes after the stream from Hannah, and then.
Yeah, I've got some.
I've got some notes
got some
here.
tips for you.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned Bear Shock covering the world in foundations. I've heard of this before. I haven't looked into it. I'll check it out later. But thanks for letting me know. But yeah, we'll wrap up now. Thank you so much, Hannah, for hanging out. Really appreciate it. I think people really enjoy when you're on the streams, and I
enjoy being here.
Nice. Thank you for all your hard work.
Well, I can't wait to see it paved.
Can't wait to see it paved by Bear Shark. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Claps for Hannah or hearts for Hannah, something like that. Say thanks, Hannah. Helps a lot. And do we just wrap up now, Snutt, as well?
Yeah.
I guess. Yep. So thanks everyone for hanging out. We should have a video this week. I'm fairly confident. I really hope we can have a video this week. It's going to be a good one. So check out our YouTube if you haven't already. youtube.com/@CoffeeStainStudios. And we'll be here again next week for stream. Okay? So if you don't see the YouTube video, we'll catch you back here again. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.